Hi guys and welcome back to the CTFC Perspective. I just wanted to quickly say before we go into this video, thank you guys so much for the support recently on the channel, getting 9,000 views in the last week. That's more than any video I've ever got. The top video on my channel was the Chance video with 3,600 views. My video of the Chelsea vlog has almost hit 8,300. I can't believe you guys' support, and I've realised we've gone up 170 subscribers. So if any of you guys are still here, thank you guys so much, and I really hope you enjoy this video where it's going to be a bit of a funky video, a bit like what I did during the pandemic, and it's going to be my Premier League 2021/2022 predictions. If you haven't already though guys, if you wouldn't mind smashing that like button because it really helps me share the channel around, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. If you have any questions or queries about the video, please drop it down in the comment section whenever you see fit. Obviously you can comment whilst watching the video, and let's get into it. So I'm going to cut us off here because I'm going to move to the side so I can have the graphic on screen. 1 second. So as you can see, I've moved to the side of the screen so you can fit the entire graphic in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from obviously 20th down to 1st, and the graphic should update as I mention it. I'm going to try and give my reasonings for everything. If you don't agree with it, I do apologise. Obviously this is just opinions, and it's almost impossible to guess the exact order of a team because you don't know about injuries, you don't know about the January transfer window, you don't know about form. Anything can happen. Okay, I'm sorry if I sound a bit awkward. I still do have my retainer in. I'm going to be trying to pronounce every word as well as I can because I understand it can be annoying at times. But without further ado, let's get into it. So in 20th position, in the bottom of the table, and to get relegated yet again, I'm going for Norwich City. Yes, I understand they had a great performance in the Championship last season, winning the league with flying colours, and almost every single one of their players performing to the very top level. But firstly, I just have to mention, I don't really watch the Championship, so if this comes out that I'm being biased to other clubs, I do apologise, and they could really underestimate here. But the last time they were in the Premier League, Pookie, he had a good start, but we have to say he did really underperform near the end of the season. They've signed a contract extension, I believe, to Grant Hanley, which, he's just a walking slab of butter in defence in the Premier League. We've seen a lot of him before. They've got Rashika, who is a great signing in my opinion, but that's not the point. I don't think he has the firepower. I believe he's gone down in form the last few years, and if someone wanted to buy him, they probably should have bought him at his peak maybe 1 or 2 seasons ago. They've lost their star man to Aston Villa, another Premier League contender, for a very low fee in my opinion, and I just don't think they're going to have the goals. I think they concede a lot. Obviously Tim Krul is a very highly rated goalkeeper, but I don't think that's enough to keep them up. So bottom of the table, and I think it's going to be quite far. Not as bad as Sheffield United this season, but I do believe it will be quite horrendous. In 19th place, I'm actually going for another Championship side, the side that finished 2nd in the Championship. That's right, Watford. They've had a very busy window, bringing in players such as Emmanuel Dennis, the free agent Danny Rose, a few other bright starlets from other leagues, as well as having many players from the Championship like that shined. So the man that you're really going to be looking out for is Ismail Assar. I think he will do well. I think he actually will get a lot of goals, which is why I believe they won't finish bottom. But I just don't think they have the strongest squad. They don't really have any standout players. Troy Deeney, I love the bloke, but I'm sorry, mate. I'm putting you 19th. Then we have a big shock here. In 18th place, I've put Southampton. This completely changed when their star man, their target man, their goal scorer, Danny Ings, just in the abyss, disappeared to Aston Villa. That's another star player, a bit like with Norwich, that has just left the club, jumped ship. And yes, they got James Ward-Prowse, arguably the best set-piece taker, free-kick taker, dead ball specialist in the Premier League. He can strike them from anywhere. But has he got enough to keep them up? Yes, they've signed 2 young prospects from Chelsea. Obviously one on a permanent, one on loan, but the loan of Brozier is one that I'm really looking forward to be honest. I think he can star there. And they've also brought in a very expensive striker from the Championships. Do apologise, his name has crossed my memory, but I just don't think that is enough. Southampton obviously lost Ryan Bertrand as well, which is a big loss in defence, and I believe they've agreed a few with Yannick Vestergaard to leave as well. They have other centre-backs at the club and other defenders at the club, but I just don't think it's enough, and I think 18th place is going to be a very disappointing season for Hasenhüttl, and I wouldn't be surprised if he jumped ship near the end of the season. In 17th position, I'm putting a club which many people in the predictions that I've seen have had to go down, and that is Brentford. I really do rate their manager, and the main reason why I've got them staying up is Ivan Toney. He's a goal scorer. He's proved it in every single division, getting better and better, and I wouldn't be surprised if Harry Kane were to leave Tottenham, they were to sign him up, because he's not too old, he's English, and he's guaranteed goals. He's scored against almost every opposition he's played against, and he really did carry them in the Championship. I believe he broke a record. I do apologise if not. They've also got many good talents, and like I said, I really do appreciate the work that the manager has done, sticking with the club and done a very good job. So I'm not going to say they're going to have the best season. I'm not going to say they're going to win the most games, but I think their goals will really take over their defence, and they will just about stay in the division by, like I said, around 4 or 5 points. In 16th place, and it really does sadden me to say this, I'm saying Sean Dyche's Burnley. He's a great manager, and I cannot say enough compliments about the man. With the budget that he's had to go through, and once again, no influx of cash yet again from the board, not giving him anything to play with, and he still does it season after season. You think he's going to grind out results, get his Brexit centre-back 4-4-2, Chris Wood up top, getting him the goals. He always ends up getting quite a few goals, actually. I do quite rate him as a striker. They got a good goalkeeper. Granted, he had that little injury. Solid defence, mate. It's perfect Sean Dyche team. If they could have some money, that's great. But I do think that if he were to do an even better and go over and above with Burnley, he really does deserve a bigger club, because the club aren't repaying him for what he does. But there you go. In 16th place, I've got Burnley. 15th place, we've got a fairly new man to the managerial role, Patrick Vieira. He's a legend on the pitch. Can he be a legend in the dugout? That's there to be seen, but on the lines of legendary, he's had a legendary window, bringing in Mark Gurhey for a decent price, as well as many other youngsters from the Championship, and a very, very good Danish centre-back who obviously was at Fulham before, and they signed him from Lyon, I believe. He's a great centre-back, a great centre-back pairing, actually. They've lost a lot of players on free, such as Gary Cahill and a lot of stalwarts. I believe Van Aanholt left as well. I do apologise if he did extend. A lot of new players in. Obviously, he's going to have to put a new system. But I think this position, not too far down, not too far up the table. I think they'll score enough goals. I appreciate the work that the keeper does, but they'll probably concede quite a lot as well. And I think 15th is a very fair position for him, considering it is his first year in Premier League management. Moving on now to 14th position. I've really been umming and ahhing about this one. 14th, 13th, 12th. It's always the middle of the table, lower bottom, that really gets me confused, and I always lose points and actually get things wrong in my Premier League predictions because of this. But it's going to be the football hooligans' favourite side, Harry Potter, Graham Potter. That is the Brighton side. Obviously losing a very, very young and prospect centre-back to Arsenal, Ben White. He really did help them in the defensive campaign, but they still have players like Lamptey, Dunk, Bissouma, everything, a lot of good talent, and if they can actually perform to their XG or over it, they can have a very, very good season. I believe if you go to one of my articles on Red's Football Insight, you'll see that I believe that they performed 14 goals under their XG, and they should have finished about 8 positions higher. That's absolutely insane. That's almost unheard of in the Premier League. But like I said, with the transfer they've done, they've had pretty decent business, and I think this is a fair point for Graham Potter's side. They never overachieve, never underachieve. They just always survive the drop. That is why I'm putting Graham Potter's side 14th. 13th is pretty easy for me, and it's a manager which gets very disrespected by Newcastle fans for someone who I understand why you could possibly be disappointed because of his play style, but he's getting the exact same points as Rafa Benitez. That is right. Steve Bruce, I don't think he's too bad of a manager, okay? At one point, I did think he was going to lose his job just because the fans had already jumped ship on him and the players seem to have given up as well. But mid-table finish, he's gotten decent points. I believe it's 48 and 49. Once again, I'm sorry if that's wrong. But he's getting performances. The squad is really good. Saint-Maximin. Some players are coming. You might even see like Joe Linton perform this season. Very rare. Almiron, I actually do appreciate his talent. I think he can perform more. They've got a solid-ish defence if they can play the 5 role. I do actually think Shah is a very good defender, but I don't even know if he's a starter there anymore. They've got 2 reasonably good keepers. Actually, no, Dubravka had a horror in the Euros. But yeah, 13th place, not too well, not too poor, but it's a classic Steve Bruce mediocre season. 12th, Wolverhampton Wanderers. I was going to put them a lot higher up in the table. I was also going to put them a lot lower. Not going to lie, it's one of those teams which can go anywhere in the table, and it was pretty much the team I put last. It's 12th because, yes, they have got back-to-back 7th place finishes. They also had a terrible season last season. They didn't have their goal scorer because of the horrible injury to Raul Jimenez. He's back, but do we know he's the same guy? He scored in pre-season. Doesn't mean anything to me. Pre-season is pre-season. Ziyech has got 6 goals in his last 4 games. He's now injured. Like, same thing could happen to Jimenez, and they might be done for. They've sold some big players like Jota. I think that was a real big miss for Wolves. They brought in some decent signings like Trincao and Neto, and I think it'll be great partnership considering they're good friends. But 12th is pretty fair considering they're trying to get their mojo back. New manager, not the most proven. Think he's going back to the 5-back with the wing-backs. Technically the 3-back, but we'll see how it goes. Just about mid-table, 12th place for Wolves. 11th place is another squad that I was kind of umming and ahhing around, just depending on their sales, their incomings, and obviously their prospect of getting European football, and that is West Ham United. Yes, they're not going to be in the top half of the table. That would shock quite a few people considering the season that they had, but hear me out. No Jesse Lingard. He carried them for a lot of their games and got them a lot of points and arguably got them European football. He's not coming back to West Ham. It's basically confirmed. They've got European football and they've got probably the thinnest squad in the league, 17, 18 players. Can that get them through Europa League games, which is one of the most games you can possibly get from a European season, unless you're in the Conference League? Sorry, Tottenham. And yeah, that as well as trying to get results in the Premier League, I don't think David Moyes can do it. Not saying he's going to lose his job, but it's going to be a mediocre season. And yeah, not even top half of the table. Sorry, West Ham fans. 10th place, we have Leeds with Marcelo Bielsa. Pochettino, Guardiola, they all say that Marcelo Bielsa is the grandfather of football management. They say that El Loco taught them everything they need to know, and he's an absolutely amazing manager. And thanks to what I've seen with Leeds, he's quite crazy, but I almost agree with it. I don't think he should get the praise that everyone gives him, because granted it's a little bit too much. But, you know, he's a great manager. He's brought a new system, a bit like what Wilder did with Sheffield United, but more effective, you could possibly say, where Leeds can have 2 defenders on the pitch and 8 at the very same time. It's very weird how their players work hard. They have the toughest training regime in the league, and Calvin Phillips is such a star. With their new signings such as Firpo, and I believe they signed Harrison on a full-time from Manchester City for a decent deal considering they had him on a 2-year loan. I think they're going to get top half of the table. They could possibly go 11th or 9th, but I think this is a very fair point for Marcelo Bielsa, considering he's just trying to get his foot in the door and then hopefully push on for possibly Europe next season. 9th, we have Everton. Obviously, the ex-Liverpool manager Rafa Benitez has taken over at the helm of Everton, and I'll be honest, with West Ham and Leeds, I was properly switching them around, as you'll see with my sheet. Obviously, I don't want to give it away because then you'll see what my top club is, the title winner, the top 4. But I think Rafa Benitez will do well, getting in some bargain signings like, I'm pretty sure, Begovic and Damari Gray, as well as some others for very, very cheap. Rafa Benitez knows how to work with a penny. He doesn't need a pound or millions, for that matter, in this day and age. But I think players like James Rodriguez, Godfrey, Pickford, absolutely great Euros campaign. I think they'll carry them to a decent performance, finish top of the table, and Rafa Benitez will announce himself back into management after taking that short stint into Chinese football. In 8th position, we have Aston Villa. Now, I can speak about Aston Villa for absolute hours. What a window they've had. Firstly, £100 million for a 25-year-old English winger, which, yes, he's a great player, but he's not even a starter for England, and I don't believe he even had 20 Premier League goal involvements. He got injured, yes. He saved Aston Villa, he brought them to a Premier League, he got them into European football, yes. But £100 million, I still can't get my head around it. And with that money, they signed Danny Ings. He almost won the Premier League Golden Boot. We have Leon Bailey, which was putting up Kai Havertz numbers for Leverkusen. almost getting the most goal involvements if it wasn't for crazy stats like Erling Haaland, Andre Silva and Lewandowski. They've also brought in Buendia, who was the star man for Norwich, who got the player of the season in the Championship, as well as other players. It's an absolutely insane transfer window. Ashley Young, imagine that for backup. Yes, he's an absolute meme in this country, but he just won the Scudetto and he's an experienced English fullback who's arguably a legend at the club, was there as a young boy. Great transfer window. Yes, their signings might not gel, but in pre-season, Ollie Watkins, Buendia looked like a great link-up. Danny Ings still knows how to finish. He knows where the net is. And even though he had a shock transfer over to Villa, he's still got his mindset stuck on the game, which is amazing, a beautiful game of football. And I think they're going to have a great season. Miss out on European football, but it's going to be very close. And I still think they're going to have an absolutely amazing season. So come on, Aston Villa. Hope they do well. In 7th position, doing better than their back-to-back 8th place finishes. Yes, you know, Mikel Arteta's Arsenal side. Bringing in defender Ben White as well as Lokonga and Tavares. Great signings, I believe. Few for the future, as well as Ben White, who's arguably, well, not even arguably, definitely their best centre-back at the club. I think he's a very good centre-back. And if you want to know more about the Ben White transfer and just the player himself, please go to Red's Football Insight in the description below and you read my article all about him. I think he's a great defender. He's proved himself at all different ranks, which you'll find out in the article and more. So yeah, if you want to give that a click or if you're interested, just click the link down below. But moving on, Arsenal have a lot of young talent. Emile Smith-Rowe tied down for, I believe, 5 years. Saka, amazing talent, but they're still looking for a goal scorer. Aubameyang can't find the back of the net in as many games as Arsenal have played in pre-season. Lacazette, 1 year left on his deal. What are you going to do with him? You've also got players like Xhaka. I think he's a very good player. Scored against Chelsea, not too much. A lot of players scored against Chelsea under Frank Lampard and last season, to be fair, until Tuchel come in and sorted out the defence. You know, Bellerin, a lot of Arsenal fans don't like Bellerin, need to get him out the door. But as well as that, I think they're going to gel. They had a very good defence last season, 3rd best defence in the league, I believe. With Ben White coming in, that makes it even better. If they can get goals from somewhere, possibly bringing in the creativity of Odegaard yet again, but this time on a permanent, it'll be very good and we'll get to see. But I think Arsenal will finish 7th because Arteta needs to prove himself or he's out the door. 6th place is very premature, and I'm sorry if I completely change this afterwards, but in 6th place, I'm putting Tottenham. I think they're going to keep Harry Kane. It's got to the point where they've gone through the walls with him. He's skipped training. He's extended his holiday. He said that he's got a gentleman's agreement with the club and he wants to leave, and Levy said, no, I want my money, and Manchester City are clearly not ready to pay for it. They were looking into the Messi deal. Messi's gone to PSG. They wanted Jack Grealish. They picked him up, and I don't really think you can get two players for 100 and 150 million respectively done in the same window. Yes, Chelsea have done that over 2 seasons, but they did sell a 100 and something million pound player in Eden Hazard, and I don't think Man City have done that in a very long time. But then again, it's Man City, they've got the money. Tottenham bringing in players like Romero at centre-back to replace Alderweireld and what was missing in Vertonghen. Very good centre-back, and I believe getting marking players such as Lukaku, Ibrahimovic and Ronaldo in the Serie A, which not many players did last season, getting a lot of goals. They've also got Brian Hill or Brian Gill. Many apologies if I said that wrong. Exciting young winger, and I do believe he got performances in the Olympics as well. And he said that he wants to win trophies at the club. Don't know if that's going to happen. But yeah, they got a strong midfield. Højbjerg, I really do rate him as a midfielder. And a few other players like Lloris and the new goalkeeper who I watched in the flesh actually. I'm going to leave another link in the description. Cheeky little plug. Chelsea versus Tottenham vlog is in the description. It's on its way to 9,000 views actually. And if we can hit 10k views, that would actually mean the world to me. So yeah, if you haven't watched already, go give that a view. Moving on to the next position after Tottenham, we have got 5th. 5th place, we have Brendan Rodgers' boys. That's right, Leicester City. We've got a real big miss out with Fofana. I thought he was going to have an amazing season this season. But sadly, one of the Villarreal boys broke his leg in pre-season. But I think Leicester will still finish just out of the Champions League position just because they haven't got that centre-back. Yes, they're bringing in Vestergaard, but they've never had a fully fit squad for a very long time. They've got the goal scorer in Jamie Vardy, as well as Patson Daka as well. I think that's a great signing, scoring bundles of goals out in Austria. James Maddison could be on his way out, but they've still got Yuri Tielemans and Ndidi. Just absolute bucket loads of talent. And they've got a good goalkeeper as well in Schmeichel, who just won the double, essentially, FA Cup and Community Shield, if you count it. They've got momentum on their side. We're just going to have to see it. But I think just for that injury alone, they can finish just out of the top four. Or also just because the top four will be so strong this year. And I think there'll be a big point difference. I'm not going to lie. Fourth place, we have Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool. They've got Mohamed Salah, who is arguably the best player in the league. They've got Firmino, which is the drop-back creative striker. Jota, which bags and bags of goals when he's fit. Sadio Mane was the best left winger in the world. Now I don't think it's in contention. I think he was that for about a 1 to 2 year period when Neymar was injured. But now I think that's completely gone. Then they've got the midfield. They've lost Gini Wijnaldum. Henderson might be on his way out because they don't want to extend it. They've got Thiago, very underwhelming. Van Dijk's coming back. Gomez is coming back. Are they going to be the same player? Yes, they brought in another centre-back in Konate. But I'm sorry, Jurgen Klopp, yes, you've done a great job. Anish Robertson isn't fit. He's injured for a little bit. You need to be spending more. To catch up to clubs like Manchester United, Chelsea and Manchester City, you need to spend big money. With Manchester City by spending 100 million on possibly a bench left winger, you can't be just buying a centre-back in the window. So I think they're going to have a good season, obviously better than last season, even though they did finish quite respectably last season. But fourth place it is for me because they just haven't spent enough. And after what they've lost, they needed to spend more money. Third place, I've got Manchester United. They've got two goalkeepers fighting for the same spot. I don't really think that should happen in football. Yes, you want good squad depth, but you don't really want that in the goalkeeping position because then two players on very high wages get itchy. They both want minutes and it just gets agitated between the two goalkeepers. And that's something that you do not want. They've got a solid defence now, arguably the best defence in the league. If you think about it, Luke Shaw, England's best left back. Aaron Wan-Bissaka can't make it onto the plane, but on the ground slide challenges, he's amazing. Rafael Varane, he's won every single final that he's played in. Champions League winner, World Cup winner, anything, you name it, he's won it all. Then you've got Harry Maguire, was laughed at for his insane fee, but he's an amazing defender and he's really starting to make up for his money considering the amount of work and actual captain, the man he is on and off the pitch for Manchester United. They brought in Jadon Sancho, best young prospect, winger, English player, possibly in my opinion actually. He's proved himself in Dortmund. He left Manchester City to go to Dortmund and he was there in flying colours, matching up with the likes of Marco Reus and Erling Haaland. Bruno Fernandes, what an amazing player he is. He scores goals, he gets assists, and he's a captain without the armband in my opinion. He's an absolutely amazing player. They've got Marcus Rashford. He's not going to be in for a while because of his shoulder injury. They've got an abundance of strikers, Martial, Cavani. But I think the thing that really lets them down is their defensive midfielder. They haven't got it. Yes, they've got the pivot of McTominay, and Fred. But you need someone like a Declan Rice or a Tchouaméni or an Ndidi something. If they can get that, I'd probably challenge them for the league. But just because of the no defensive midfielder and the way that I like the way that Ollie likes to play on the break, you really need a defensive midfielder to sit deep, and that's why I'm putting Manchester United in third. Second place, I really want to put these boys top of the league, but I'm gonna have to go Chelsea as a second place, just because I understand we brought in a £100 million striker. One of the best strikers in world football at the moment, Romelu Lukaku. It's been confirmed today. We've got the likes of Kai Havertz on fire, Ziyech, that when he comes back he's going to be on fire, Mason Mount, Timo Werner, Pulisic. All of that, Callum Hudson-Odoi, all of that just for attacking talent. We've got a very good midfield, possibly the best pivot in the Premier League, Jorginho and Kante. Jorginho, he's won every single European competition you can name. Kante, the best central defensive midfielder in the world. Great defence. Thomas Tuchel, obviously in management. We're back off the back of a Champions League win. But I just think Manchester City will be too much. They scored way more goals than this last season. Even if Lukaku hits the ground running, we have to score a lot of goals and get a lot more points. That's why I think Manchester City will just edge it. But I think it'll be a very tight title race. I think it'll go down to the final 2 weeks and then Manchester City will just about pull away. But I'm very looking forward to this season as a Chelsea fan. There might be a surprise coming in the very near future. And moving on now to our Premier League winner. I wonder who it will be. Yes, that's right. I'm going for Manchester City. Pep Guardiola's side just signed in Jack Grealish, one of the best creators in the league, in the world, in fact. They've got Kevin De Bruyne, cheat code in its own way. Sterling, Mahrez, Bernardo Silva. That's just wingers. They've got Jesus. They haven't really got a number 9, but Man City don't need a number 9. Pep Guardiola said he'd take midfielders for the entire team. Ruben Diaz, great defender. Edison, mate, he can kick a ball about 5 football pitches. He's an insane goalkeeper as well. There's just the squad depth is absolutely insane. And fair play, I think Pep Guardiola is going to run away just about with the league yet again and put him with the Premier League titles. I think if Manchester City win this one, they'll have more Premier League titles than Chelsea. I'm unsure. But yeah, Pep Guardiola, I do believe he's going to win the league. And he's just going to put his name into the history books once more and just show that if you give him money, he will bring success. But that is about it, guys. So like I mentioned previously in the video, we're really close to getting to 600 subscribers. So if you wouldn't mind liking the video, because it helps the video get shared around. If you wouldn't mind subscribing to the channel and hitting that notification bell so you know when a video goes live and you help us get closer to 600 subscribers, it'll be greatly appreciated. If you have any questions or queries, drop it down into the comment section. I'll try to answer every single one of them because I love you guys' support. There'll be 2 videos on screen very shortly. I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.